Niner victory week again. 4 in a row, Mike.
Well, I'll say this. Sid was gone. We still had a show.
Yep.
I was gone. We still had a show. Nick leaves. We can't do the show. So we know who the star of the show is now.
Fair enough.
And I just, it's my first year doing it. I wanted to figure out who the star was. So,
well, Mike, it is called Shooting with Schuman. I mean, that is the name of the show.
But,
right? So,
but anyway, and we were just
a connector of people.
That's it. We were talking, and we didn't do the show last week, so I'm thinking, I looked at the spread, I go, 12 and a half. So I was ready to take the 49ers for the first time this year and take the Titans. All right, the game's out of hand early, but when you gamble like that, it keeps you involved in the game. Panero kicks the field goal late in the game, I lose by a half a point. So that'll teach me.
13-point victory on a 12.5-point spread.
Yeah,
all I would say is those guys are good.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
And Mike, you're a creature of habit, so of course you had to take the Titans. You just couldn't do the Niners.
Well, I will say, it was a great win, but the Niners are going to have to score 30 or more points the rest of the way to win. Did you give up 24 points to the Tennessee Titans? I'm sorry, that defense is just not playing.
Number 1 overall pick, Mike.
So, I know, but he hasn't done anything this year. But
he wants a decision who they're going to hire as their
I
next
saw
head
that
coach.
today. He wants to be
involved.
involved.
Yeah, have input.
So anyway, the Niners keep finding ways to win, and it was a great thing in the post game. I don't know if you saw it. They celebrated as Kyle spoke, and then John Lynch stand up. It was Kyle's birthday last Sunday, and gave him a game ball. So
I did see that.
It was kind of nice to see Kyle kind of not shrink, but he lost that little power trip here on as a head coach. He was just one of the guys for a second. So it was a great moment.
Yeah. Couple of takeaways from the winning streak and the victory. One, Brock Purdy 2 games ago, I should say, absolutely horrible in a win Monday night against the Panthers, and then plays his best game of the year. So maybe Brock Purdy doesn't suck after all. Number 2, Trent Williams was absolutely slow start to the year, and he has been playing some of the best O-line play in all of the NFL. He had the highest PFF grade of any lineman last week. So Trent Williams not done yet. Pretty good at football.
Yeah, a couple of takeaways, I think, from the game that you brought up. Purdy looked like he had some of that swagger back, right?
Yeah.
He's doing these weird pump fake things. He's hitting guys, the jump passes, right? The Jordan jump pass. I saw that Shanahan was calling.
Frankie Albert was back.
Yeah, so he had a little bit of that swagger back. Maybe he's feeling better. Maybe that toe is like not in the back of his head at this point. Trent Williams looked great. Ricky Pearsall, I think that could have been his best game of the year, right? He was looking pretty good. Unfortunately,
he's hurt again.
Hurt in that game. But I think, that was a real connector. And I think the defense, like you said, Mike, and Nick, they gave up some points. I think it's kind of like a bend but not break defense.
Well, that's what it's become. Playing a lot of zone.
And guys can just, they can run the ball on the Niners. But, hey, listen, it looks like the offense is looking pretty good. And I think, there were some good signs in that game. But really, we all kind of knew Titans are probably the worst team in the league. So we're moving on to Indianapolis.
And I'll follow up on Pearsall. He made enough catches where they started to run his routes back, replays. And just watching his route running as a former, quote, possession receiver, he runs unbelievable routes for only his second year in the league. There's the thing I used to do. If you're going to run an out, you take off like you're going and turn your head. And the DB has to turn his head because he can't see the quarterback. And then he breaks off. And usually a kid that early in his career doesn't have that move. So I was really impressed with him. Problem is just keeping him healthy.
Yeah.
That first one was kind of one of those hip tackle drop tackles, and kind of strained his Achilles and his ankle. So we'll see if he can hold up. So that's my concern.
Yeah, speaking of, so you bring up a good point, right? It's kind of known that the white wide receiver is going to be the kind of inside slot guy, run the good routes
these days. Yes,
the heady guy. But Pearsall's also an elite athlete.
No, he is.
People don't give him enough credit. Like, he can stretch the field. You have to respect him
with his speed
vertically as well. So he's got all the traits to be a really, really dynamic number one wide receiver. Can he stay
healthy? That's the only thing about it. So
it seems like some of the stuff is kind of the freak injuries, like that tackle he went in the tent. He came back and played the rest of the game, which was nice. But
I heard again.
I think this week is this week is probably in jeopardy. So anyway, I mean, move on right now. 10-4 record. Moving on to Indianapolis.
Still third in their division.
Still third in their division. I think the biggest thing about this week with Indianapolis is we got to talk about is Phillip Rivers.
Oh my gosh.
The guy is back. Grandpa is back and playing quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts.
Phillip Rivers is 44. The Niners down a couple receivers.
Yeah.
Schuman, is your phone ringing? Is your phone ringing?
No. Now, a couple things on Rivers. Now, Steve DeBerg, who I played with, he was coaching the Atlanta Falcons, and who was the quarterback? Crystal, they call him. He was always hurt. So anyway, he gets hurt. Dan Reeves asks Steve if he wants to play. So Steve dresses out, also at 44 years old. I was surprised it wasn't referenced in that game with Rivers. And so they signed him to a contract, and he says, well, how about if I get $250 every time I win a game? The GM goes, you're not getting that. He ends up making more than he's ever made in his career. He made like $3.4 million that year back in the 80s. So anyway, it was.
Well, the biggest
and
thing
Rivers,
is,
real quick, I can't remember. Rivers has 10 children. Now, and these days in the NFL, once you retire, you get health insurance for 5 years.
Yeah.
His health insurance ran out. So not that he was trying to get, because he's got all the money in the world, but he's got now
strategic
5
move.
more years of health insurance. But his bid for the Hall of Fame now has been put off for 5 more years. And that last play where he threw that interception, he threw it as everything he had and it went about 16 yards. I mean, your
about
kids
9 miles per hour.
Your kids could throw the ball further. And you're going to tell me there's not a third quarterback on somebody's practice roster that can do better than he did. As a veteran, he could pick up the offense quickly, but I just think that was a joke that he was brought back. Great story, but
5 years off.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's a bigger part of the story. Like, it's one thing, Brady played into his 40s, but was still playing. They talked about a maniac in the offseason.
Right, exactly.
Right? And then you got Rivers was coaching high school football, and they were making a big deal because he ran the same offense that the Colts run on his high school team. I'm like, I don't know if that really correlates.
Well, the coach obviously trusts him. And listen, he got him that last drive, got the field goal, and then they left too much time on the clock. I think about 30 seconds, but he had a chance to win that game, right? And, I mean, yes, he does look old. I think it was a lot of – I was talking with Nick about this on the way home from the Niners game that we went to. It was a lot of smoke and mirrors, like he, fake little dump-offs, a lot of running, just kind of control the ball. I think that was kind of their
That's why I look at this game for the Niners as a no-win situation. Like, you cannot let a 44-year-old QB beat you. So it's like one of those, I equate it to like, remember back when you played Little League and the other team had a girl pitcher? And you were like, if you hit a dinger, you're kind of like an asshole, right? So if you sack Rivers 4 times, it's like, whoa, guys.
She strikes you out.
Yeah, exactly. But if you strike out, you're like, wow, you let a Rivers. So I was like, you let Rivers throw a touchdown against you? Like, I don't know. I hate this game for all those reasons for the Niners.
And you just don't know. You're right. What threw me is when he came out on the field, the rim protectors that quarterbacks wear, they had to find a double extra large.
His body doesn't look good.
To fit around that trunk. So, great story, and he's going to start again, I guess, this week.
So he's going to start Monday night.
It's Monday.
It's a Monday night, so it looks like the Niners are favored by 6.5, and we got the over-under at 46.5 is kind of what I've been seeing out there. So, listen, this game, looking back a couple weeks, looked like it was going to be a tough game for the Niners, but I think Indianapolis is kind of treading water here
on some hard times.
Well, they were 8-1, and they lost like 6 of their last 7. But at this time of year, who needs it worse? The Colts need this win more than the 49ers.
They do, right?
Those are the dangerous teams this time.
Yeah. So, anyway, I think so. Here's my thoughts on this game, and then
I'd give it to Jonathan Taylor 100 times.
They might. Based on the Niner run D, they might.
Yeah. Exactly. So 6.5 points here. I mean, I like the Niners in this game. I think, this could be like a trap game going into the next week, but I really think the Niners are focusing after that bye week, and they're playing really well, and they kind of know the agenda that's going to happen here. So I like the 6.5. I like the under. I think Indianapolis are going to try to do what they did against Seattle. Just run, just dump off, try to dump the time, take the ball if they get the field, if they get the coin toss. I think that thing's they're going to do. So I like the under in this game is but the Niners would cover the 6.5.
That's the first time we picked the under all year.
Maybe.
And then you mentioned something else. The bye, which we were joking about early in the season, why is it so late? Could not have come at a better time for the 49ers. So and you could see it. They looked fresher last week. Purdy had his best looking game.
Sure.
So it's going to be interesting.
All right, Nick, what do you think this week?
So Niners getting a couple guys back. Bethune supposed to play this week potentially. Should really, really help the run defense. I'm hoping 2 D linemen potentially coming back. Sam O and Gross Matos could come back this week. So some reinforcements on the defense. Colts are really banged up in the secondary. So Mooney Ward, revenge game. We'll have to wait. He's out. Sauce Gardner's out. So here's what scares me.
After all that build up.
89% of the money bet is on the Niners. America is a believer in the Niners and a non-believer in Phillip Rivers. I usually think I get really scared when America
Hold on, we need a drum roll.
is that hard. But I'm taking the Niners.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the over based solely on the Colts are banged up in the secondary, and I can see the Niners finding a way to put up 30 again. And so, they managed to cover with an over it.
So, Nick, you said all that, even according to your quote, Vegas wasn't built on winners, right? But
that's correct. That's why I'm scared. That's why I'm scared.
Okay, Mike, what do you think?
All right, so they have what? The Colts, the Bears, and Seattle.
Correct.
In the season.
Yeah.
Now, the year we went to the Super Bowl, we started 1-2. We won 9 straight games. We were on fire, and then we lost to Cleveland at home. So and that was the wake-up call for us that, maybe we're not as good as we think we are. And I think that loss probably sent us onto the Super Bowl more than any other. Same thing kind of that what we just talked about. Indy needs this win more than 40.
Okay.
On the road, Monday night, big stage, and Brock seems to, play pretty well in those kind of games. So, but with that said, I'm going to take the Colts on this one. Not hoping the Niners lose, but they get a little wake-up call as we go down the stretch. Because
if we lose to Phillip Rivers, our season's over.
No, but the Niners, like we've been talking all year, have as good a chance as anybody to win the Super Bowl this year. There's not one dominant team in the league, and I've never seen it like this as long as I've been around the NFL, which is almost 60 years.
Fred Warner's coming back for the Super Bowl, too. I saw that.
It's on Instagram.
That'd be nice, but
you don't
want to read.
And you might catch a pass.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I did in the last Super Bowl. You have as many catches as I did. So I'm going to take the Colts with the points. And plus, I was talking to a lot of my family in Louisville, Kentucky. They're all going up to the game in Indianapolis because they're 49er fans. They can't wait.
Let's go.
So, anyway, it's going to be interesting. A little attachment here. And I'll take the over because I think that, like you guys were talking about, they need to win. Yeah, they might just run the ball, but the Niners are going to have to score a lot of points. So,
all right. So you guys got we got all 3 scenarios here. I got the under of the Niners. Nick's taking the over and the Niners. Mike's, of course, taking the Indianapolis Colts like usual. And
pulling for the Niners, though.
Okay. I got a couple guys, I think, in this game. So, listen, Shanahan was kind of, saying, I think Ricky's going to be okay yesterday or the day before. Yesterday was kind of more optimistic that it's not going to happen. I don't think Ricky's going to play in this game. I think he's probably going to sit. So
I'd save him for the rest of the year to play.
Yeah. So I like Robinson and Bourne to have good games filling in for Ricky. I think, we all know.
Bourne needs 1 yard for 500K.
So I think,
I think he gets it.
I think he gets it. I think he's going to get a catch.
And what happened to him?
Well, I mean, I think
as soon as he came over, he had 2 great games and he's disappeared.
Yeah. So I think maybe they need him in this game. So I think him and Robinson looked good last game too. Bourne, I don't even know if he saw the field. I don't remember him playing.
It's 17 yards. So
yeah.
He needed 1 more yard. He's getting it this week.
So those are guys that I think that are looking. Any guys you think the highlight?
Well, that's kind of been Bourne's MO. He comes in and plays really well for 2 or 3 games. Everywhere he's been, it's kind of what he's done. Then he disappears.
I'd like to see the Niners. I mean, I like Bourne. Maybe anyone name your wide receiver at this point. I do see the Niners hopefully getting down the field a bit more, knowing that they're banged up in the secondary. So I definitely can see that.
I like you had talked about the linebackers have really struggled. So with the kid that's coming back, maybe he has a good game. He's a Florida State guy.
Tate.
Yeah, so I think maybe the defense is what's going to maybe be the star of this game because if you don't have all your weapons, and McCaffrey still hadn't had a run over 10 yards. Brock had that 36-yard scramble. That was the longest run of the year for the Florida. So,
one thing, bring up McCaffrey. I did like how Shanahan was mixing in Robinson a lot more.
I did too.
At some point, we're like, is McCaffrey hurt? Because Robinson's getting like 4 or 5 carries in a row. I like that.
We need to save him.
And like I say, you could have Robinson take those pounding between the tackles, put McCaffrey in the slot, let him do the Debo jet sweeps, and you just don't take the beat. He takes such a beating every time he carries the ball. It's at least 2 or 3 hits in the middle. He's so good at bouncing off. I think he leads the league in yards after first contact.
Yeah.
So we got to keep him healthy. So I'd like to see more B-Rob in that situation.
Yeah. So I think he mixed him in this game. All right. So let's look around the NFL. A couple things, before we'll highlight this week's game, some things that happened. Obviously, Mahomes, ACL, Parsons, ACL. The Chiefs are not going to make the playoffs this year, which we've kind of talked about all year. I think the Packers suffered some injuries. Maybe Watson comes back. But a lot of injuries around the NFL, but the Niners seem to be getting healthier, right? So it could just be
ACLs are just not safe anymore.
Man, I don't know.
They're not safe. Watch your ACL.
Well, I've been saying it for years. They don't hit in practice anymore. So you go a whole week not getting hit, and then all of a sudden you're getting pounded like this. So more injuries in the league in the last 5 to 10 years than maybe ever. So that's just it's a big concern, and they were talking about that. Big names too go down, like Mahomes. And the first time in 11 years, maybe they haven't been in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he's never not played in the AFC Championship.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But so since he got hurt, they were still eligible. I saw he's never taking a meaningless snap in a game.
Yeah.
So Mahomes, because he's not going to play the rest of the year after they're eliminated, is still never taking a meaningless snap.
He says he'll be ready for game 1.
So he could be faking it.
We'll see.
Because they're eliminated. He could be faking it.
And does Travis Kelce decide to retire?
I think
he's starting to show, and
not good.
And to be one of these, do I want to go out on a better hot note? But you know what? I'm not paying him that.
I think his better note is that he's going to marry a billionaire. That'll be fun for him. I think that'll be good.
Doing all right.
So this week, big game tonight. Rams Seahawks, right? I mean, this is
maybe the best Thursday night game this year.
They said this is the first time ever they've had 2 11-win teams play on Thursday night.
Wow,
finally.
Yeah. Almost unfair, this short week. And then the Rams had trouble getting up there yesterday. Their plane had mechanical problems.
I saw that.
So they were scrambling to find another plane to get up there. So that throws off
coincidence.
I
don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe somebody pulled something from
because if I had to pick
Boeing is from.
If I had to pick a number 1 seed right now, it would be the.
Okay, so again, that game tonight looks like probably Devontae Adams is not going to play. Puka's a little banged up. Seattle pulls this game off tonight, right? Again, it helps the Niners. If they win and the Niners can win out, it's a 1 seed for the Niners. So it's a big game to watch. I think
that'd be huge.
Either way, one of these teams is obviously going to lose.
Either way, the Niners win tonight because one of those teams loses, right?
Notice we'll probably see a tie, probably. But who knows? But one team obviously will lose tonight. And then some other games I got Green Bay, Chicago.
And when was the last time a late season Green Bay
Chicago
Chicago was worth anything? Chicago's been so bad for so long. So this is now an intriguing game. Parsons is hurt. Green Bay all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago beats the Bears pretty handily, and it's like, oh, clearly they're the best team. And now,
we'll
2
see.
weeks later, are they?
Yeah.
That game has a lot of ramifications.
Tampa Bay versus Carolina. Surprisingly, this game's going to be important now.
For
both teams
number 1 in the South. Right?
Yeah, number 1 in the South. I mean, both those teams you probably want to see in the playoffs right now, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Give me either one of them in the first round.
Yeah, that'd be great. Jacksonville versus Denver will be a big game.
Big game.
Jacksonville's looking pretty
10-4. Jacksonville.
Everybody thinks they're overrated, but we'll see in this game.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Denver's coming off some wins.
They're the number 1 seed in the league right now. Denver.
That's record.
I got Pittsburgh at Detroit. I think Detroit still has potentially a chance to get in.
They do.
So it'd be nice to see maybe.
They need some
Pittsburgh.
help.
And then New England versus Baltimore. I think that Baltimore-Pittsburgh division, New England, we'll see. But I think there's a.
So I think they play the last game of the year, maybe. So I saw Pittsburgh, these next 2 games actually are meaningless, considering, the winner of that division will come down to the last game of the year. I think if Baltimore loses, then they're out.
Okay.
Because Buffalo beat New England last week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just mean with that AFC North, right?
Right.
Personally, I think both those teams suck at this point. So it's pretty much like the NFC South. But yes, those games matter. Do those
kind
teams
of the race to keep Mike Tomlin?
Yeah. Do those teams scare anybody in the playoffs? Probably not.
No. I think probably both four seeds from the NFC and the AFC, right? You're going to want to play, hopefully, Tampa Bay or Carolina.
They get a host, though.
They do get the host.
If we played Tampa Bay, let's just say, we would be at Tampa Bay, which is just a dumb rule still.
It really is.
They
You need to
that.
reshuffle it and go by record.
Exactly.
Yeah, you won your division, but you have to be rewarded for that. So, especially that division, it's so physical.
Which brings up a good point. We talked about this the last time we were together. Who do you want to play now in the playoffs? Because I think the Niners would probably have clinched a playoff spot, even though they haven't. I think they're going to get in, right? So it's whether it's going to be a 1 seed, a 5 seed, a 7 seed. We'll see what happens here. But I mean, teams again. I think the teams you don't want to play. I don't want to play the Texans.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that would be a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, but excuse me.
I'll take them if we get there. I'll take the Texans.
But I'm talking on the AFC side. But I'm talking the Texans are a team that you don't want to play. I think on the AFC side. But on the NFC, I think the only team that you may not want to play, I don't know. I still think Seattle is where I'm kind of sitting with. I don't want to play them.
I honestly, Seattle's a division team. We beat them once this year, so regardless of what happens in the last game, there's a lot of familiarity. Same with the Rams. I get it. I agree with Mike. Rams are probably the best, most complete team in the league, but am I terrified to play them? No. I still see us having a shot, especially in SoFi. Niner fans travel really well. There's not a team there 2 weeks ago. I probably would have said the Packers, but now with their injuries, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
whoever wins that
pretty
division. That the Chicago, I wouldn't want to play Chicago or Green Bay at their place.
Yeah,
Chicago's kind of scary because you're just not sure what you're going to get with Caleb Williams every game.
Yeah,
but they're really physical, and then Green Bay, their offense would love all of a sudden starting to play like everybody thought he was going to season. So,
yeah.
And if one of them were to win the division and the Niners had to travel there, that's a game I wouldn't miss.
Yeah, I agree. I'll still take it.
Yeah, again, like I brought up, hopefully we're playing the Texans in the Super Bowl. That'd be an interesting scenario. But
take the under.
I think this week, obviously, let's take care of Grandpa and Phillip Rivers. We'll see what happens with this Thursday night game, and then we're back for next week versus the Chicago Bears. So let's have a good week. Go Niners.
Go Niners.